This podcast may contain certain forward-looking statements concerning Tri-State's plans, performance, and strategies. Actual results may differ materially because of numerous factors, and Tri-State undertakes no obligation to update these forward-looking statements. We urge you to review Tri-State's filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission for a discussion of these factors.
I walk in my office every day, and the hall that I walk into, there's a sign, and it says "Better Together." And I think from the top down, from generation, transmission, delivering the electrons on the distribution side to the end user, I think we're all better together.
Welcome to Western Watts. I'm Melissa Swinehart.
I'm Julia Eshelman.
And today we're kicking off October, which is Cooperative Month. We're really excited to have Jay here because what he does in his role tying the members back to Tri-State is invaluable. We're excited to learn a little bit more about his role and how he helps bring everybody together as a cooperative.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. As a member relations manager, my team is lucky enough to go out and interact with the 40 members. This October, we'll be headed out just like every other month and visiting with our members, talking strategy, talking all things electricity, all things their member system, and how we can contribute and bring people together.
That's a lot of territory to cover. We have 4 states. How many relationship managers do you have?
We're a team of 4 with Edie in the office doing back office things. She is available all the time when we need her and when we're on the road. It is a lot to cover. With 4 relationship managers going from headquarters to Garland, it's 597 miles, driveway to driveway. And then if we go to our most southern member system, that's Columbus Electric, and that's 697 miles. If you think of travel time and our outreach, it is critical that we have the right people in the right location to reduce that travel time. But we have Lonnie in New Mexico, we have Becky in Wyoming and Nebraska, Michelle in Colorado, and I support Colorado, Nebraska.
I snooped on your LinkedIn and discovered that you've actually been in the cooperative world your entire career. And even then, you've been one of Tri-State's members even. So you've been in the co-op world over 20 years?
26 years.
26 years. What's been the draw to stay in the cooperative world?
Isn't it crazy? 26 years is a blink of an eye. I feel like I was just graduating high school, starting at United. But I think the draw for me was I didn't know what I was getting into, like a lot of times employees getting into a co-op world, but just having a passion to serve. I've held multiple job functions throughout my career. Throughout the 26 years, I've been fortunate enough to work for 3 distribution co-ops before coming to Tri-State in a number of roles. And in every role that I've had, whether it was member services, starting energy audits, if you unpack the job function, you're serving a member. And whether that's here at Tri-State serving a distribution member, you're still serving. You're still finding a way to solve for a connection. Member services, going out to do an energy audit, key accounts. Key accounts is probably one of my biggest passions because it's my business to know their business and help them be more efficient. So connect with them. But I also worked on the construction side, which gave me a little bit more technical background. I was able to understand transformers, underground lines, overhead lines, what was needed for, let's just say, a box store or a small subdivision. You just learn through and are exposed to different things. 26 years later, you just have all this background, all this information that you're able to connect on so many different levels through the technical side.
I would say well-rounded is an understatement. How has all of these different aspects helped you prepare for Tri-State and for that relationship between Tri-State and the distribution co-op?
Great question. At the end of the day, it's all about connection, right? At the distribution level, you were connecting the end user with the member. I spent a lot of time in my career working for the key account program at different utilities. It allowed me to connect with cities, with city government, with city council members. Coming to Tri-State, it allows me to do that tenfold. At the time I was hired, I got to do that with 12 members in New Mexico. Hadn't been to New Mexico to work in the co-op world, didn't know the environment, but I knew the business model. And I knew at the end of the day, the biggest impact is connecting with people and helping people with whatever they need. We get to interact with the Tri-State board member, with the CEO, with the local board members, and with senior staff or staff at a co-op. So I knew those were my strengths. I knew how to do that. Coming to Tri-State, I just got to do that on a different platform and on a bigger platform. And now as a manager of member relations, I get to connect with my team and we get to do that across the 40-member system.
You know, they say when you've met one member, you've met one member. So the boards and the people in New Mexico are vastly different shouldn't say vastly, but there are differences between what maybe a member needs in Wyoming versus a member needs in New Mexico. So how do you train that persona that like we're here to serve?
That's the challenge. I don't know that a lot of member systems understand the full scale of Tri-State because I didn't. In each role, I knew I had a contact for Tri-State. I knew if I had a question, I could call this person, they could help. I think what we're trying to do as a team is meet them where they're at. It's tough to connect with everybody, every personality, right? It's tough. We all have different strengths. We all have different communication methods. And every member system is different. You met one co-op, like you said. But there's opportunity for us to be able to help every member system, no matter where they're at, no matter the size of employees. WireLick has 22 employees. The way I reach out to Ryan is going to be different. And maybe it's not me reaching out to Ryan, but it's Becky because they have that strong relationship. You just lean in, and those that can connect, you allow that connection, and you just keep working. You keep showing up. I believe that showing up consistently and really helping, really diving deep, I think that goes a long way to building trust.
For people that are unfamiliar with the member relations team, what's your pitch? Why does Tri-State need a member relations team?
Great question. I walk in my office every day, and the hall that I walk into, there's a sign. And I don't know if it's strategically placed there or not, but it says better together. And I think from the top down, from generation, transmission, delivering the electrons on the distribution side to the end user, I think we're all better together. So the RM team is there to help facilitate that better together, right? Tri-State is big. There's a lot of different departments. There's a lot of different folks that we could work with. The RM role really is for that central point, that central contact. I always think of us as a point guard on a team. If a CEO has a question, call the RM. There's a lot of communication that goes out from Tri-State. So giving them that central point of connection and having that point guard run with whatever question, I think just helps facilitate that communication from top to bottom.
So you started off as the New Mexico rep, and now you're the member relations manager. What is your take on being an effective manager for the member relations department?
I think I bring a little bit of a different philosophy to the RM role than traditional to Tri-State. When I first started the role, we sat down and just talked about 6 member visits per year, which is huge. If you think of 40 members, that's 240 intentional member visits. What does that mean? I don't want it on a cadence to just roll out because Jay says we need 6, but there's opportunity to plug into, right? Some CEOs want everything to flow through them. Some want board updates, local board updates. When you meet them where they're at, it really depends on the touch point. We have a ton of programs here at Tri-State that we offer our member systems, BYOR, high impact load, DR programs. There's a number of things that we can schedule visits and talk about as they are ready.
And I know sometimes on those drives you're help supporting the Tri-State EV Ride and Drive program. So sometimes you're headed all the way to New Mexico or Wyoming in an electric vehicle and trying to find a charge point somewhere in between there.
The experience is just one program that Tri-State offers that the RMs help support and bring to our membership. The positive thing about the EV experience is that we get to learn what the EV charging situation is across our service territory. Where there are opportunities, we get to learn how EVs perform and charging time.
But how's your range anxiety now?
I don't have any range anxiety. I just got back from a trip from Lander, Wyoming. I took the Ford Lightning, that's a standard range, 225-mile range, and I made it just fine.
And what is that EV program then for our members? Are we loaning them out a car? Or...
Tri-State has had an EV experience program for about 5 years now. Started with some Teslas, but when you look at our service territory, it's very rural America. Trucks dominate rural America. We've reprogrammed the EV experience to have 2 pickups. We have a Ford Lightning 225-mile range and a Chevy Silverado is 505-mile range. 2 totally different uses, but again, it's a program where membership can reach out to us and borrow the EVs for a 2-week period and find out how they work in their service area, and they're able to have their employees learn about them, or we can do ride and drive events and help support their membership to learn about EVs. That's just one program that our team is really up to speed on. Some are interested in key account development. Some are interested in just getting a rebate program on board. Some want us to come out, like Saturday, I'm going out to a member engagement, member appreciation day. Those are all touch points. Those all bring value depending on the member system and what they want Tri-State to help promote for their member system.
I think that it seems, man, for you and your team, the amount of knowledge that you have to carry with you about all the various programs that Tri-State offers, all the different things that Tri-State is working on legally, regulatory, like high impact loads, bring your own resource programs. You're basically channeling all these different business areas that we have into one person, and then you're feeding it back to the membership. I think that's a huge value add for the members themselves.
Yeah, it is. And giving them one point of contact. What I love about my team is they bring different strengths. Lonnie's based in New Mexico. He has an incredible eye for capturing moments and telling that member's story. Becky, just a connector. She's a people person. Doesn't matter your background. She has a natural gift of just bringing people together and connecting. Michelle has a passion for education. She loves getting out into the membership, talking with any schools, any leadership group, just about educating and promoting programs or story behind the switch. She just has a natural touch for that. And for me, I think I'm a little bit more behind the scenes, but technically stronger in my background to help support that. As we meet as a team, as we continue our learning individually and together, I just feel like all of our different backgrounds elevate the RM success.
Circling back to something you said earlier, and we were talking about touch points. For you, what is that intentional touch point?
It depends on the member co-op. If I'm going out to Otero to meet with Mario, I know his biggest account is dealing with the tribes, understanding what the tribe needs. Is it energy efficiency? Are they looking at a microgrid? It just depends on the member system, and it depends on the need. If I'm going out to YW, most of their houses are heated with propane. Do they have opportunity for heat pump promotion? Or what's the penetration rate for heat pumps to supplant that heating source and make a house more efficient, but also balance out, not just getting an air conditioning load, but getting some heating sales.
And saving the members money.
Always.
Those YW members on propane, save them some money with a heat pump.
Pete would be proud.
I love sharing a meal with somebody. I love that because you can talk shop when you're in the shop. It hits home on a different level. I used to do that with key account management because it's important that they know who's working on their behalf.
And it is not a successful co-op event if someone hasn't been fed.
It's true.
I know no other way after 26 years.
Food is important. It builds trust.
I think I see you and your team most frequently when you're getting in and out of vehicles with so much drive time. It shows you really value that face-to-face interaction. How important is it to physically be in the member's service territory and be able to have in-person conversations with them?
It's huge, especially when you're trying to build that trusting relationship, the foundation. You want to get the foundation. But it's funny that you say that in and out of vehicles because I've heard different employees say, you're in and out of an EV. That's all I see. And there's so much more to that. My team has traveled 59,160 miles from January to August. That's road time. Just miles traveled. Think about that. Between 40 members, that's 166 member visits in person. These aren't Teams meetings. This is just physically being there. The way we roll out is if a member wants us there, we're going to do everything possible to make sure that we're there. I've been invited to Central New Mexico team all-employee meetings at their co-op, and we were able to get in front of all of the employees and talk about anything that was going on in Tri-State, just give a Tri-State update. We're able to do that with local board meetings. Wherever they want us, we want to meet them there.
This is the value add that Tri-State's bringing to the membership. Do you get a lot of feedback about, it would be great if Tri-State could XYZ? It's like you're their member
Suggestion box.
Yeah, suggestion
Human
box.
suggestion box.
How do you handle those requests, or what does that look like?
We get that regularly because we are in their office. We are connecting with them, bringing that back. If it's not something that we offer now, okay, is it something we can grow into? Is it something that we can look at that we haven't in the past?
That two-way communication. Here's what we're doing. How else can we help you?
I think we talk a lot about vertical alignment. I just call it alignment, right? If a member CEO is struggling in one aspect, let's say it's safety, bringing safety up to their employees or developing a safety program or a wildfire program. We have talented people here at Tri-State. It's just coordinating those conversations and finding workable solutions.
I think that's a great way too to bridge the difference culturally between Tri-State and the members. It's really about being local. They are rural. They're off the beaten track a lot of times. Being able to see you in person or being able to connect with someone in person, it's really important because they might just say they're in Denver, they're in Westminster, they don't know about our lifestyle at all. They don't know how we operate. But then when you're able to actually be with them in person, it probably really radically changes the relationship.
And I think understanding that it takes time, right? If I was new to Wyoming or when I worked in New Mexico, I hadn't worked in New Mexico before, so I didn't know the culture between the CEOs. I didn't know the culture in New Mexico. I'm born and raised in Colorado, worked for 3 bigger distribution co-ops in Colorado. I knew what I knew, but I didn't know that piece of it. And connecting with somebody and building trust, it takes time. I don't force the relationship. I just let it happen organically.
It's that family extension, celebrating wins and being there when times get tough.
Exactly.
We talked about all the traveling, all of the territory, the face-to-face interaction. Can you just go into the workload of being a relationship manager? And don't cry.
Have I said I have the best team ever? We're a team of 5 with 4 people on the road this week. All 4 are on the road Monday through Friday. I have the best team. Workload, and just running some quick analysis, it's been 30% of their workable hours have been just road time, just driving. When I tell the RM story, I don't think people understand that enough. The members are so important to us that we are committed to being on the road that much. And when you think about what that means for that person being on the road and the life impact, it's heavy, it's a lot. But they are so important that we are on the road that often, meeting with them to make sure that they're successful, because if they're successful, we're successful. There's a lot to balance. We try and respond to emails within 24 hours, but if you're traveling and you have a 15-hour day, it's a lot.
And I know field employees would all get this, but after United left, our closest member is probably 45 minutes away.
Yeah, you said 580 some miles up to Garland.
To get to Garland is roughly 11 hours.
Yeah.
To get to New Mexico, to get to Columbus is 12 hours.
It's putting in that effort, not just for the Colorado members, but giving each member that face-to-face time. Sometimes that just costs 24 hours of drive time.
I think what we do, the team does a great job with trying to coordinate multiple visits, neighboring co-op. If we're going to Columbus, you may want to hit Sierra. You may want to hit Socorro. You may want to hit Otero. We want to definitely focus on efficiency and maximize that. It's a juggle with trying to be intentional, deliver value, and hit those members within the same round trip. We're very cognizant of the cost to roll out. And of course, we work for our members, so that's top of mind, but we want to be efficient and deliver value.
Do you want to talk about, you mentioned it before, the difference in needs of all of the co-ops, how someone in northern Wyoming is going to have completely different needs than southern New Mexico, even just weather-wise?
As we look across the 40 members, it really is something that we have to take into account. So many member systems just came out of their peaking season with summer, but others are just about to walk into it being a winter peaking season. And some are irrigation heavy. You have different member systems across the geography of the 4-state region that have different load shapes. And we as a team take that into account with how we're interacting with them, what they might be needing, when their construction schedule is, what substations are needing attention, all of those things. It's the RM role to be able to understand that account, that member system, and what that person, that CEO, that operations manager, what they're needing and walking into. We're walking into October. How is that next quarter going to affect their member system?
Can you give a recent example of either a program or someone you were able to connect a member with that helped them out?
I was on Facebook just the other day, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and I seen the city of Socorro celebrating a new event where they had swapped out their ball field lights. And I quickly texted Manny and said, "Hey, are you aware of this project?" He said, "No, I wasn't." I said, "There's a rebate for that. We should connect with them and talk with them." And in fact, they're giving them a $20,000 rebate just by happenstance because I read it on Facebook.
It's awesome.
It's little things like that. It's our role to not to be in their business in a negative way, but again, we want to be an extension of them because we're all working together and trying to make the system more efficient.
And that makes us look good for that ball field or the people, if it was a school, like, here's some money for you for doing the right thing and upgrading your lights.
It helps the member system. It helps Tri-State. It's just a win-win.
Yeah, what you said, connecting, it's finding connections that aren't obviously there and being able to critically think, oh, I saw an unrelated member event. Oh, Tri-State has something that I can push to support them, and then also highlight Tri-State at the same time. Just continue pushing that better together, that collaborative environment. I think it's always awesome to be able to let someone know, hey, there's a resource that's available, especially if they didn't know of like if that can solve a problem. That's really awesome.
And we've been spending a lot of time talking about external communication, but there's a huge piece of the RM role that we do internally. And that is exactly that. If we're out meeting with an operations manager and they're saying, hey, we're going to rebuild this 69 kV line because it feeds an oil and gas load, that's a pretty big deal. Do we need to coordinate anything on our end internally with operations or with dispatch? We're always moving internally and externally, making sure the right people are connected with whatever's going on.
I feel like with how quickly everything is changing in the industry, which also makes Tri-State change a little bit faster, like Melissa said earlier, that's just so much to keep track of. High impact loads is a brand new thing. The Bring Your Own Resource program is a relatively new phenomenon where normally Tri-State would maybe roll out one new program a year or every other year that was targeted at the members. Now all of a sudden there's 8 brand new things that you have to be a subject matter expert on or know someone who is and be able to answer questions quickly enough for members to be able to make decisions too. And that just would keep me up at night.
There's definitely a lot going on. Our industry as a whole, it's not just Tri-State, but our industry as a whole has just been slow to go, just slow to move. The pace of play here recently within the last 4 years is completely different. Is that bad? I don't know if it's bad. I think the beauty of working at Tri-State now is all of those programs that we have to offer for our members. They don't have to go outside of the Tri-State family to partake in something. We offer it. If they don't, and it's something they want to grow into, they have time. There's nobody pressing one way or the other. But I think the beauty of connection and the beauty of what we're doing now, alignment, is that we offer things that we've not offered before, and we are ready to work with our members and serve our members.
And I think that was a good brainchild too of the department, was that you want to offer these services before somebody else does, which just fragments that relationship even more.
You're absolutely spot on. And part of the RM role is understanding that load shape, because once you understand the load shape, you understand what you're trying to solve for from that local board's perspective or the CEO's perspective or the operation manager perspective. Again, understanding who we serve and how they serve their end user and aligning that. I think we're in such a great spot now.
So Jay, what was your biggest win this year for 2025?
I think the biggest win for us is having the backing and trust for membership to sign a contract extension or sign a new contract if they didn't extend. I think a lot of the role before that was making sure that we were answering questions. We were connecting the right internal staff with external staff, whether that was discussion with the local board or CEO reaching out and said, hey, I'm not clear on this. How would this work? So again, playing point guard with a lot of connecting the right people to the right conversation at that time. To me, the RM team was critical in building that trust beforehand. It was really, really cool to see the Better Together movement. We have so many great programs that we're offering. I think the membership finally sees that. And signing the contract extension allows them to implement just better service, more programs for their end users.
I can't believe that was still this year. Wow.
Was that a big part of the reason why they did sign, is they saw what Tri-State was bringing to the table and were interested in that?
I think the majority of them signed because they see what Tri-State is trying to move forward and do. Allowing them to self-supply from 5% to 20% is huge. It brings the ability to have local generation. I think that was a big part of that.
Building new infrastructure and new generation and reliability, the flexibility, kind of the things we've been touting, I think is great that Tri-State can provide our members with that.
And it allows them to bring it on a local level. So many times I've gone out into the field and met with different members or met with economic development groups, and they say, is Tri-State here? Does Tri-State have a generation source here? And it's hard to be in every community. It just is. But this allows the co-op to be able to do that if that's the direction of their board.
What are some of the biggest opportunities in the coming year?
Well, boy, opportunities are endless. With all the program implementation, my team could be out on the road every single day.
Of the programs that you're going out on the road and sharing, which one are you the most excited for?
Excited scary or excited positive?
Oh, the dealer's choice.
I'm really excited about what the DR program can do across our system.
And can you just explain what DR is?
It's a demand response program that we're offering that we just started summer of 2025. We have different programs within the DR program. We have thermostat program, CNI program, battery storage program. It'll allow us to be able to work with our members and really find out who has opportunity and interest to work in that DR space. I love the potential opportunity there system-wide. The scary excited is the high impact load, because there's a lot of opportunity to grow sales, to grow load at the local level and then for Tri-State. But the pace of play of which they're expecting this to come on board, it scares me, because they're asking for a lot of energy really quick. And we have to get this right.
And what does demand response mean to a member?
I didn't mention the irrigation program, but irrigators, when there's water, they have to pump. And their load shaped to a co-op is very important. It can double a co-op size. We have to build infrastructure to meet that demand. Whereas if we start a demand response, if we can work with them and coordinate when they're pumping, we can shave a little bit of that peak. We would work with our membership, whether it's irrigators, whether it's a CNI, whether it's a thermostat program. Essentially what you're doing is you're working to balance out the efficiency of what's running when it's running.
What program would you say the members are the most excited for?
I would say it depends on the member system. I think the high impact load is a program that has everybody's attention right now. The opportunity to grow and land a pretty big load or a pretty big member and user is desired by almost all the members.
That's appealing, especially for a lot of these rural co-ops that don't have a lot of growth because they're out in the middle of nowhere. But the ability to possibly get a high impact load in their area and increase their revenue would be huge for them. Can be a big change for them.
We talked about how much everything's changing, the landscape of energy, people's roles, even people's relationship with their power provider. Along those lines, how do you envision the role of member relations evolving?
With all the program rollout, I just think the role of the RM is going to be much more important, right? Again, we talk about the pace of play of things changing, but we also talk about coordinating, making sure we're all on the same page, from the end user that's approaching the distribution co-op to Tri-State, and how you handle serving that load, or a DR program, how you handle coordinating what's running when it's running. I think the RM role is going to have to be a little bit more intimate with that local board's view on things, like how they're going to approach their member system, how they want to tie in with Tri-State. And right now we have 4 RMs, including myself. And I just think with all of the program development, that number is going to have to increase because of the intentionality and commitment that we're going to have with each member.
I think that's a good take too, because there's so much that all of the co-op employees and member employees are doing. So they're wearing so many hats. Even if it's communicated with them once, they might not have the time to devote to investigating it.
I often say you might not be a subject matter expert in every program that we offer, but you can dial in somebody that is. It's understanding the need, tying the resource and the people to fill that need.
And highlighting phone a friend frequently.
I love that, phone a friend.
It's pretty funny because they're going to be calling you at 7 a.m. You guys talk about more than just work. Once you have that inroad, you're talking about your kids, you're talking about who graduated, you're talking about vacations you went on. Like you just become actual friends with them.
No doubt. And I've experienced that. I see my team experiencing that. I'll just give you a for instance. Last night, I got a call at 8 o'clock. I'm winding down and I get a call from a board member in New Mexico saying, hey, can you be here tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning? It's a balance. I love that they're doing that. It's just hard. 7 o'clock this morning, I get a call from YW. You're always on. And I think that's where I come back to. We have 4 RMs now, but I think the level of service shouldn't suffer. The level of trust that we have shouldn't suffer. But we definitely need to balance out the work-life balance so we can still maintain that high integrity of serving our members with the right amount of staff.
What's something you wish more people understood about the work your team does?
I don't know that Tri-State employees understand how small and how rural some of our members are. I don't know that they've correlated. One thing that I'd love to do in my office is have pictures of every member's system and their employees. Because I know who I serve. I know who I work for, right? I've worked for 3 different co-ops, so I understand that. But what I'd love to see is Tri-State employees understand who works at Wirelek, who works at Wheatbelt, and see that we're all working for them externally. I think when we roll out to a member system, most of the times they're excited to see you because you've built these relationships with them. I don't know that they understand the back end office of everything that we do at Tri-State, but there's so much more
Yeah, having to balance tri-state and the member, but not being able to spend the majority of your time in either place.
I call my office my vehicle because you're traveling from here to there. Also, understanding the local board's perspective. They may say, I don't want DR, but you don't know the program or the benefits that it could help. Right.
It is true that you have to be really careful with the way you pitch some of the things, because if they have a really small staff and they're already at capacity, if you bring up a program, they'd just say, sorry, my plate is full.
Yeah.
I can't handle that.
Yeah, I mean, spot on. And credit to Reg. Reg has really worked hard to change that thought process, to not create programs that create hardships for small co-ops or co-ops that don't have staff to do that. Trying to create programs that are turnkey. It's a focal point of how we design a program and how we implement a program, because we want the program to be successful for those that do it. How do we help support that member CEO implement this program when he doesn't have the staff to do that? Let us be an extension. Let us help and bring that success to that member system.
Can you give me 4 examples, one from each state, maybe something unique or something that other people might not know about them?
In Wyoming, it's windy as heck. It always is windy. I know that. People are great. Wyoming is beautiful. Again, just traveling through Wyoming, maybe everybody knows this, but I didn't. I'm shocked about the beauty and shocked about how great the people of Wyoming are. Nebraska, same thing. Nebraska, just heavy irrigators and how important our role for them growing crop is. I didn't know that. And you'd think, of course it is, but it's just until you see it, experience it, hear the stories and the voices. It wasn't something on my radar. Colorado is uniquely beautiful, and you have southwestern Colorado and load to the eastern plains and how vastly different it is. New Mexico, people of New Mexico are so welcoming. There's some parts of New Mexico that, are winter peaking systems, but then you have the desert. Columbus, love Columbus. The food is great in New Mexico.
I think we're narrowing in on which one is his favorite. Just kidding.
No, there's great food in Wyoming and Colorado, and Nebraska. I haven't been very often, very much, but I'm sure there's great food there.
I'm the Nebraska stan of the communications group. The most time I've spent with Wheat Belt, I freaking love Wheat Belt. My random thing is, whenever we go to these little random restaurants along the way, they all have Rocky Mountain oysters.
That's so true.
They all have Rocky Mountain oysters. I don't know why.
Yeah. Wyoming, there's steak. New Mexico, green chili. Colorado, a variety.
Yeah, Nebraska, great corn. Rocky Mountain oysters are still available.
The chilies in New Mexico.
Oh, what's the barbecue place?
Mad Jack's.
Oh,
Yeah, if you're in Cloudcroft, go visit Mad Jack's.
Yeah,
because they sell out.
Because they sell out.
To wrap it up, for the cooperatives and public power district members of Tri-State, what is the benefit of our business model? What does the cooperative difference mean to you?
Cooperative difference is working together. Hands down, we have, in the 4-state region we cover, we have the best people working in our territory. Hands down. Everybody understands what they do. They understand the why, which is huge, and they work together. I just love, again, better together. I see it every day on my way in, on my way out. Better together. Are there different ways to get your electricity? Sure. But you know what? At Tri-State, you have a seat at the table. You have somebody you can reach out to. You have a number of people you can reach out to. And we're just available to help each other. And I love that business model.
And as a co-op guy, do you have a favorite cooperative principle?
Concern for community. I think we move electrons, but I don't think that's the juice of what we do. Concern for community, whether it's a key account, whether it's a member system partaking in 4th of July parade. There's just so much more that the distribution co-ops do, that Tri-State does for the communities we serve. We move electrons, we sell electrons, but that's not really what we do. We're in the people business and we're in the service business.
That's amazing. Good job, Jay. That was great talking to you today.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to Western Watts. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, or on our website at tristate.coop/ww.